Hey guys, welcome to the tutorial for my real estate LUT pack. Once you pick the LUT pack up, you'll receive 3 files in the folder. One will be a document explaining the settings and the techniques I used to get the look I want. And the 2 other files will be the LUTs. The first one will be a real estate exterior LUT, and the second one will be an interior LUT. The only difference between these 2 LUTs is that the exterior LUT brings down the highlights and softens them up a little more than the interior LUT, as I find that it's often really bright outside and the highlights are often really harsh. Okay, so jumping into Premiere Pro, I have a few clips added down below here. They are shot in B-Raw Q5. I just use Q5 because it allows me to up the bitrate a little bit, as opposed to 12:1 when the shot needs it, when there's a bit more movement, just in case. But yeah, any B-Raw will work just fine. Yeah, as you can see, I've got all the B-Raw settings here. Starting off, I might adjust the white balance a little, because I know it was pretty kind of warm light when this was filmed. So going in, we'll apply the real estate exterior LUT, and as you can see, the whites are looking pretty bright, I would say. So I'm just going to bring them down a little. To about there seems good for now. The LUT does add quite a bit of contrast, so depending on your scene it may be too much, and in my case I think it is too much, so I might bring it down to about 90-ish% and then bump up the shadows a little, bring down the highlights a little. I'm actually missing the contrast. Go back to 100 because we kind of decontrasted the scene there. Bring my shadows down a little bit more, mids up a little. I'm going to add some saturation next so I can sort of see what I'm working with better, what needs changing. And what I do is zoom in a little so I can see a bit more. It's looking pretty good now. I just want to add a little bit of a pink tint into it. Go to 16, I think that's fine. And I want to bring the blacks down a little. And I want to bring the mids up a little as well. I'm thinking that's a good brightness level. And just add a bit of warmth into the midtones where the skin colors lie. And that's about it. That looks pretty good to me. Oh, no, it doesn't. It looks pretty bright to me. I'll bring the highlights down a bit more. Yeah, I think the highlights are good there. Yeah, so with these exteriors, the main thing is just controlling your highlights, and everything else is pretty easy. So I'll take a look at that. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. You can add a bit more saturation if you want to. Yeah, that part is pretty much down to personal preference. The only other thing I do add to my clips is sharpness of about 10. So on to the next one. Start off this clip by adding on the exterior LUT, and you can see the whites are pretty bright again, and the white balance is also completely way off, so we'll fix that first. Let's see, it's looking pretty good. I'm going to add a bit of tint into it. It's looking a bit green, still looking pretty blue, but that is because the sky was very blue that day and the white walls kind of bounced that off a lot, so might warm it up a little more. Next we will adjust the whites a little, so you can see a bit of clipping there. Bring it down a tiny bit. I like what that is now, and then bump up the shadow so we can see this sort of area under the shade a bit more. Bump up the whites a little more and bring down the highlights. Then I'll add some contrast because it's pretty desaturated coming out of there. It's still a bit blue, So I might add, oh, I don't like what that looks like. Tiny bit there, and then tiny, oh no. Yep, just a tiny bit there. That looks good to me. Take a look at that. Yeah, that looks good to me. So have a quick before and after. That's what it was. That's what it is now. Same with the first one. That's what it was, and that's what it is now. On to the next one. We have an interior shot. So we'll put in the interior LUT, and you can see it really brings out the whites almost to the point where they are blown out. But you can see there's only a tiny bit that's actually blown out. Most of the detail is still retained. So we'll start off by correcting the white balance for this because it's looking a bit too warm. So we'll go in, let's try 4. One thing I often do is also bump the saturation right here. Bump the saturation up quite a bit so we can see how warm it actually is. Just kind of shows it a bit better. So I think about there is good for white balance. I'll bring that back down. And as you can see, I'm pretty happy where it stands right now, but there are a few changes we can make. So I want to kind of see the shadows a bit more, bring down the blacks a little, so a bit more contrast by doing this. Bring out the whites a little. And I do want to bring down the highlights. A bit of contrast, and then put in some saturation, not too much. I can see a bit of green in the shadows, so I'll just see what that. It's kind of. Yep, okay. So I don't really make my white balance adjustments when shooting B-roll in here, because that is a destructive process. You should make them in here. Just use this white balance to kind of see, because it's a bit fiddly adjusting with this. I know there are other sliders, but you have to kind of let go of it for it to see the changes. So yeah, it's just easier doing it up here. And that's done. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty hard to use. Let's take a look. Could use a bit more contrast. And yeah, I'm happy with that looks now. So I'll see a quick before and after. That's what it was. That's what it is now. I really like the tones we're getting with the wood and the cabinets there. And the whites are a bit warm, which I like. So moving on to the next one, we're going back outside in a pretty overcast day. So we'll start off with the exterior LUT. As you can see, it's a really good starting point already. Just a bit of white balance tweaks, although I think the white balance, yeah, it could be warmed up a little. So we'll just make those changes in here instead. Yeah, I think that's good. It is a tad green. Yeah, I think that's good there with the white balance. Everything looks pretty good as is. Just want to add a little contrast so our focus, being the gentleman over here, can stand out a little more. So yeah, this is very much personal preference as well, but yeah, I do like to make him stand out from the background as much as possible. We will bump the saturation a little, and for this one I do want to change the hue of the greens. I don't really like where they are right now, so we'll make them a bit more green. And then I do want to adjust their luminance levels as well, bring it down a little. I do want to add a bit of color contrast in here as well, just to make his skin look a bit nicer. That's looking a bit too green. Yep, so I'm really liking this where it is now. Didn't take much work at all to get it to here. So we'll watch this through. Here's a before and after. Yep, so that was a pretty easy one. Here's another one, kind of outside and inside. So you can see how it works with that. So I use the exterior one for this because it's a bit brighter. Do want to add a bit more contrast here. Push down the shadows a little because it's looking a bit bright. And I want to bring down the blacks a little. Saturation wise, it's pretty good. I do like where it is. If we bump it up too much, you see it gets a bit too yellow in the wood. So just a little. I like where it is now, so don't really want to mess with it too much. But you can see, yeah, inside also looks pretty good. Next one is another interior. So we'll pop that in there. And right off the bat, I mean, there's not much I would change at all. The white balance could use a little tweaking. It's just, yeah, it was looking a bit pink, so we'll make that adjustment in here. And I'm happy with that there. You can use a bit more contrast in it as well. Put that through there. I can use a little saturation, not too much. And yeah, I'm happy with that there. Have a quick before and after. That was it before, and that's it after. Might bring the whites a little down so we can get a little more detail from the sky. It's pretty blown out though, but yeah, that's as much as we can get. Next one is just a interior of a bathroom, just with the light. I'm honestly happy with this, but we'll adjust the white balance a little. There's a little green. We can boost the whites, add a bit better contrast in there, and yeah, pretty much happy with that. So that was it before, that's your after. Then the next one is the same bathroom from the wider angle, so we put that in there. It's looking pretty bright, so we bring it down a little. Just add a bit of contrast. A bit of a green tint in there. So yeah, fix that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So there's the before, and there's the after. Just watch it through a little. Yeah, I really like the contrast in there. And then this is another kitchen. So we'll pop in the interior lot there. Right off the bat, again, it's just looking really nice here. We can warm it up, cool it a little, because it's looking pretty warm. We can boost the shadows a little so we can see a bit more. Just make everything a little brighter. And then add some contrast in there, just so things pop a little more. And the next thing I want to do with this is, there's a bit of blue coming in under the bench here and in the fridge a little, because there was a window facing the kitchen, a big open area from the backyard. So I don't like the way that looks, so I'll bring that down a little. So if I boost it all the way up, yeah, you can see it's really in the fridge and the bench top, so we can bring that down. And yeah, it just kind of neutralizes the white bench top in the kitchen there. So you can see it makes a little difference, but yeah, something I like to do. Otherwise, I'm liking the look of this. So we'll have before and after. That's it there before, and then here's after. That's another before, and then after. Thanks for watching my tutorial on my real estate light pack for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K and 6K. As you can see, we were able to grade these clips pretty quickly and easily and achieve a nice clean white look with beautiful colours. If you liked using my LUTs, I'd appreciate if you could leave a review on my website and to share them with anyone who may be able to benefit from them. And stay tuned, as I'll have more coming in the future. Thank you.